It's day 2 of the coronavirus quarantine, but we have things to do. Today we're making jerky, marinating this jerky. We're going to try something different. So we've been working to slice the meat very thin. Something my boss did in a batch he made this last week was to slice the meat a little thicker and then use a tenderizing mallet to hammer it into the thinness that he wanted. And let me tell you, that jerky was so tender and delicious. And so we're going to try that this time. So I got this chuck roast over at the grocery store the other day, and it's ready to go. We're going to cut it up, we're going to hammer it, and then we're going to marinate it. Now today's marinade is Backpacker's Delight. This marinade is very simple and consists of some really simple ingredients. Because there's not much chunkiness to this, not much prep time in advance, we're going to make the marinade second. Really, this is a lot of spices and water. It's made with 4 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 3 dashes of liquid smoke, and a 1/2 cup of water. Now that's per pound of meat. We've got about 2 1/4 pounds of meat here, but we expect to have about a half pound loss in fat removal. So let's go ahead and get this meat cut up and then pounded and get it in the sack and get it marinated. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is cut up enough to put in this plastic wrap here I've got, and then pound it, and then I will put it in the marinated sack, and then repeat the process until I've got all the meat cut up. So it's going to be, sort of a assembly line kind of thing here. It's just tender already. Now this is a very fatty, very marbled piece. I didn't have a lot of options with the condition of the grocery store this time around. So let's just cut a big chunk out and start working with that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is cut it pretty thick and then pound it thin. So we're going to cut around all the marbling. Do our best to anyway. There's a lot of it. It's tough. It's not a good cut of meat for doing what we're doing, but it's pretty tender. Alright, let's go ahead and get some plastic wrap out. Let's do a little tenderizing. Looks amazing. Alright, so we're finishing up the cutting now. I'm about to pound the second batch of meat here. This particular cut of meat I've discovered is not the proper cut for doing what we're trying to do. It's got way too much stuff in it. Had to work around. Ended up cutting a lot of it out. Might get a little bit more out if I really work at it, but I'll tell you, there's really not a lot of meat in here that's not got significant marbling. And when I say marbling, it's not just fat. There's a lot of gristle and other stuff. So we'll just file this one away as a lesson learned. But still have enough to make a decent batch, so we're going to go ahead and finish this up and get the marinade made. So let me finish cutting this last little bit here, and then we'll pound it, and then we'll get it in the marinade. All right. good. Still gonna make the marinade for a batch of 2 pounds. Having a little extra marinade is not gonna hurt. I think we're probably about 1.5 pounds now, which is fine. All right, got my Corningware bowl. Let's measure some stuff up here. First thing is 8 teaspoons. That's a lot of salt. That's about 7. Let's just go with 7. 1 teaspoon of black pepper. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Now I think I'm going to run short on chili powder here. Now I've got some other 1 teaspoon, so we'll need. I might be okay. 1, 2, 'We'll just put it all in. 1 teaspoon of garlic salt. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 teaspoon of onion powder. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, next is a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So apparently they want us going light on the cayenne pepper by ratio. All right. 3 dashes of liquid smoke. We'll put that in after we put in the water. So now we put in a cup of water. And 3 dashes of liquid smoke, but since we're making a double batch, it'll be 6. Is that a dash? 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm trying to be judicious with this. I don't want to overdo it, because if you do, that could ruin it. Okay. Stir that a little more. And there we have our marinade for the Backpacker's Delight. Let's go ahead and put it in here. We'll go ahead and do a vacuum seal on this one. And then we will let it marinate overnight. You know the routine. Do some massaging of the meat here first. All right, now let's go ahead and get this in the fridge, and tomorrow we'll see how it turns out. We'll see you then. How's it going? It's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time to put the meat on the dehydrator and get the jerky going. Now normally we would do this on a Saturday, but this week it's a Sunday. We've had a lot of stuff going on with the coronavirus. We are on day 3 of our self-quarantine. We're making jerky. So we're going to start out by dropping this in the colander and getting all the excess juice out. And then we'll bring it over here and we'll start loading this up. So I think it's pretty clear we're not going to get 5 trays out of this, but I think the meat's going to be a little bit larger, but it is going to certainly be a lot more tender. It may take a little longer to actually dehydrate because it's going to be a little thicker. we'll have to see. This is a whole new setup since we prepped it differently. So let's go ahead and load up the dehydrator and get moving. Yeah, this is so much thicker. I may want to pound this again with the hammer. This is really thick. A lot of it's folded over though. Alright, let's go with it. Yeah, some of this is really thick. I'm going to hit with the hammer again. This is much better. These that were thick are now very thin. Okay, this is working. My boss did say he hammered them after marinating, so that jives with what he was saying. All right. Going to be okay. I know it's going to be tender. I know it's going to be tasty. But we did have to work a little harder, I think, because of the cut of the meat. We'll try and hopefully get a better one for next time, but I think the process is solid. So let's go ahead and get this turned on and dehydrate. And we'll see you in a few hours. Alright, how's it going? It's been about 3 hours. We've let this process through, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what it looks like. Looking like it's a little bit dry, as it should. Let's take a look at this bottom layer, see how it's doing. Yeah, I think it's time to go ahead and let's go ahead and rotate these trays here. Now again, these are thicker, but these are looking seriously great. Look at this. Oh, yeah, see that? I'm also going to turn these. Alright. Well, these are going to take several more hours, I can tell. But we're going to go ahead and put them in. Leave them in until they're ready. Alright, we'll see you back here in a little while. Alright, it's been 5 hours now. Of course, this being as thick as it is, it's taking its own sweet time. Here's what it looks like at the moment. It's crispy on the outside, but you can tell it's still on the inside. Needs a little bit more drying. Now this is the one that was on the bottom. Some of the thinner pieces look okay, but you know, we'll be working on this for a couple more hours, I'm sure. And we'll check in as we do this. So we'll see you in a couple hours, and we'll see how it's doing. All right, 7 hours in. 7 hours? 6 hours. 6 hours in. We're gonna check them out and see what we think. Seem pretty dry. I don't know if it's the fact that they're so tender that makes me concerned about them not being dry. Let's take a look at some of these further down. I think what I'm going to do is rotate them again. let them go for, let's flip them as well. Some of these are absolutely done. So I'm going to pull off some of these. And then we'll condense these down. Alright, so everything's really close to being done. We're going to give this a try and see what we think about this week's batch. Now, we learned a lot of things from it. We learned about cuts of meat and what not to get. We learned about our new technique. We're going to see how tender it is. Well, that piece wasn't very tender, but it's delicious. Oh my God, that marinade is good. This is a good batch. Well, ooh, a little too salty. A little too salty. Flavor is good, but I can't eat a lot of this or I'll die from a heart attack. So, we're going to stick with this method. We're going to try a better cut of meat. And next week we'll be trying a new marinade as we do every week. So come back then and let's see if we can keep improving this process and get better each time around. All right, we'll see you later.